Good morning, dear students. Today I shall take up a story by Rabindranath Tagore. Kaubliwala. Kaubliwala, a merchant from Kabul, Afghanistan, who comes to Calcutta, old name of Kolkata, to say different things. Meaning, my 5-year-old daughter cannot stop talking even for a minute. Minnie was a very chatty girl, and it was her habit to talk to the strangers and to other persons. She was 5 years old. She learned to speak when she was a year old and has not wasted a single minute in silence ever since. When she was 1 year old, she got the talent of speaking, and till then she had not wasted even a single moment in silence. Her mother sometimes scolds her, and that keeps her quiet for a while. When her mother saw her that she was talking without any break, then her mother scolded her, and after the scolding of her mother, she kept quiet for some time. But a silent Minnie seems so very unnatural that I cannot bear it now. But the narrator says that he did not lie, meaning to remain silent for a long time. One morning, I was working on the 17th chapter of my novel. One morning, the narrator was working on the 17th chapter of his novel. Minnie sat at my feet. Minnie sat beside me, playing. My study faced the main road. Suddenly, Minnie rushed to the window, shouting, "Kaubliwala, hey Kaubliwala." The study room of the narrator faced the main road. Suddenly, Minnie heard the voice of a street vendor who came from Afghanistan to sell his items, to sell his dry fruits, to sell his rices. Minnie went to the window and started shouting, "Kaubliwala, oh Kaubliwala." A tall Afghan was passing by. A tall Afghan vendor was passing through the house. Passing by the house, she wore a dirty, loose robe and a turban. He had a turban on his head. He carried a box of grapes in his hand and a large bag slung across his shoulder. A long bag was on his shoulder. He heard her call and turned towards our house. After hearing the call from Minnie, he came near the house of Minnie. Smiling, instantly Minnie's curiosity gave way to alarm and she vanished indoors. When the street vendor Kaubliwala reached near Minnie's house, she went inside the house and hid herself. She was convinced that inside Kaubliwala's bag were imprisoned little children like herself. It was her imagination that the bag which he kept on his shoulder, the sack which he put on his shoulder, in that shoulder he kept little children, and this fear made her to run away from there. The Kaubliwala came up to the house, greeted me and stood smiling. I could not send him away without buying anything. I chose a few things while he talked to me. The narrator talked to the Kaubliwala and he bought a few things which he was selling. His name was Rahman, though everyone called him Rahmat. Before leaving, he asked Babu. Babu is a term used to address a man, usually a gentleman, respectfully. Where did your little girl go? I thought Minnie should get over her fear. The narrator thought that after some time Minnie would get over her fear. I sent for her. She stood close to me, glancing suspiciously at the Kaubliwala and his enormous bag. As long as she remained there, she was staring at the street vendor, Afghan vendor Kaubliwala, and also glaring suspiciously at his bag. Enormous bag, big bag, which he kept on his shoulder. The man held out some dry fruits to her, but Minnie refused to take. The man gave her some dry fruits, but Minnie refused to take. This was their first meeting. This was the first meeting of Minnie with Kaubliwala. A few days later, I found my little daughter sitting near the door, talking non-stop in her usual manner. After few days, the narrator found his little daughter sitting near the door and was talking in an unusual manner. While the Kaubliwala sat at her feet and the Kaubliwala was sitting at her feet, listening attentively to the words that were spoken by Minnie. A broad smile on his face after hearing the words spoken by Minnie. He was smiling. The street vendor Kaubliwala was smiling. He occasionally made a reply in his uneven Bengali. In an uneven Bengali, he was giving answer to the questions that were put before him by the little girl Minnie. Never before had Minnie come across such a patient listener other than her father. Minnie did not get such a patient listener as she found in the Kaubliwala. His father was also a patient listener, but never before had Minnie come across such a patient listener other than her father. I learned that this was not their second meeting. The narrator learned that this was not their second meeting. The Kaubliwala had been to see Minnie almost every day. Almost every day he was coming to talk to Minnie. And with the help of bribes like nut and dry fruits, had managed to conquer her, little her, to no small extent. And by giving dry fruits every day to her, the Kaubliwala, the street vendor, tried his best to win the heart of Minnie. These two friends had some stock conversation and jokes. For instance, as soon as she saw Rahman, my daughter laughed and asked Kaubliwala, "What is inside your bag?" Minnie asked a question to the Kaubliwala, what is inside your bag? Rahman in his turn would grin and reply, "An elephant, Hathi. An elephant I kept." That there was an elephant inside his bag was the subtle, was the delicate, not easy to understand or explain meaning of the joke. I cannot say that it was particularly subtle, yet this joke amused both of them considerably, and I too enjoyed the innocent laughter of a grown-up and a child on an autumn season. The narrator also enjoyed the laughing of his daughter and the conversation that was made between both of them. One day I was working in my room when I heard a commotion outside. One day the narrator was working in his room and he heard a commotion, a movement outside. I looked out and saw two policemen dragging out Rahman. When he saw through the window, he saw that two policemen were dragging out Rahman. They had tied his hands. There were blood stains on Rahman's clothes. Some blood spots were visible on the clothes of Rahman. And one of the policemen was holding a blood-stained knife, and the other policeman had a blood-stained knife in his hand. I went outside and stopped them. The narrator went outside of his house. He stopped both the policemen and inquired about the incident. I asked the narrator, "What is the matter?" I turned out that one of our neighbors owed Rahman some money. He had falsely denied the debt. during the subsequent fight, during the following or coming after something, during the subsequent fight, Rahmat had stabbed him with a knife. Rahmat was cursing the liar. Rahmat was abusing the liar when Mini appeared, calling Kaubliwala, "Hey Kaubliwala." Immediately Rahmat's face lit up. Immediately Rahmat's face lit up. Suddenly looked happy and interested. Rahmat's face looked happy and interested after seeing Mini. His bag was not with him. This time his bag was not with him. And so they could not have their usual joke about it. Instead, Mini asked, "Are you going to your in-laws' house?" Mini asked Rahmat that you are going to your in-laws' house. These two had been one of their standard lines. These two had been one of their usual lines. Father-in-law's house was an address that had held little meaning for Mini and a double meaning for Rahmat. It was a slang. It was very informal words for the prison. It was a slang. It was very informal words used by a group of people for the prison. Usually Rahmat would reply, "I shall hit the father-in-law. I shall hit the father-in-law," upon which Mini would giggle delightfully. Mini laughed delightfully. Today Rahmat grinned and said, Today Rahmat laughed and said yes. When he saw that Mini was not amused, he added, "I would have hit the father-in-law, but how can I? My hands are tied." Rahmat was sentenced to several years in prison for causing a fatal injury, for causing death to someone, for murdering someone. He was kept in the prison for several years. I almost forgot about him. The narrator almost forgot about the Kaubliwala. As time passed, living in our home, busy with our daily work, we never wondered how an independent man who had travelled in the lap of mountains might be spending his years inside a prison. The narrator was wondering that a person who was of an independent nature, a person who had the habit to travel in the lap of mountains, how he should spend his time inside the prison. As for Mini, ever her father would have to admit that her behavior was very regrettable. His behavior was something to be sorry about. Too easily we forgot her old friend and made friends with the horse keeper. Then as she grew older, she made more and more female friends. So much so that even in her father's study, she became a rare visitor. When she grown up, she became a rare visitor in her father's study room. Years passed, another autumn arrived. Years passed, another autumn arrived. It was Mini's wedding. From early morning, the house was filled with people and noise and activity. I was sitting in my study. The narrator was sitting in his study room, looking over accounts. Then Rahmat came and greeted me. All of a sudden, Rahmat appeared there and greeted the narrator. At first, I could not recognize him. In the beginning, when Rahmat greeted the narrator, he did not recognize Rahmat. He did not have his bag with him. This time, Rahmat did not have his long sack with him. His hair was shorter. The previous vigor was missing from his frame. The previous energy and strength which he had in the beginning, that was missing from his frame, from his body. Finally, I recognized him from his name. At last, the narrator recognized him when he laughed before him. I said, "Well, Rahmat, when did you arrive?" He said, "I was released from prison last evening. Last evening, I was released from the prison." His reply struck a jarring note. his reply produced an unpleasant and disturbing effect. I had never seen a murderer before. The narrator had never seen a murderer before. I felt repelled by the sight of one. Now, I felt a strong dislike towards, I felt a strong dislike by the sight of one now. I wish that the man would not remain in my house on this auspicious occasion, on this special and hopeful occasion. I said, we are rather busy today. We would better leave. Okay, the narrator said, we are busy today, so it would be better for both of us to separate from each other. He turned to go away. However, near the door, he hesitated a bit and asked, can't I see Hoki? Once, Hoki, an informal term used to address a little girl. Perhaps he had believed that Minnie had remained the same. Rahmat thought that Minnie was the same as she was many years before. As if he had thought that Minnie would come running, Kaubliwala, hey Kaubliwala. He was also thinking that when she was a small child, she was running and calling him Kaubliwala, hey Kaubliwala. In the same way, she would come and call him as before, and there would be no interpretation to their old amusing conversations. He had even borrowed a box of fruits. And nuts from some friend to give her. He no longer had his own stock. He came up to me and said, I had bought these nuts and raisins for Hoki. Please give them to her. When the narrator tried to pay Rahmat, he grabbed my hand. He kept my hand. You are very kind, you are very gentle, you are very magnanimous. I shall always remember. Please do not give me money. Please do not give me money. Rahmat said, Babu, I too had a daughter in my country. It is with her face in my mind that I bring these few things for Hoki. I don't come to trade. Here I did not come for trading, for business. Okay, I had two daughters in my country, and the face of your daughter reminds me my daughter's face. That's why I brought this dry fruits for her. So saying, he brought out a piece of dirty paper from a pocket near his chest. He unfolded it carefully and laid it out before me on the table. On the paper was the impression of a small hand. Something was written with a small hand. Not a photograph, not an oil painting, merely some charcoal rubbed on a hand and then captured on paper. With the help of charcoal, something was put on the paper. With this keepsake of his daughter, Rahmat had travelled every year to Calcutta, as if the touch of the tiny tender baby had soothed his immense lovely heart. My eyes filled with tears. The narrator's eyes filled with tears when the Kaubliwala showed the small hand, the impression of the small hand which he kept near his heart, which reminds him of his daughter. This filled the eyes of the narrator. I realized that we were both the same. The narrator realized that we were both the same. The narrator was also a father, and Rahmat was also a father. We were fathers. The hand print of his baby daughter reminded me of my Minnie. At once I sent for her, clad in her bridal attire. Minnie came and stood by me, sighing like a koi, like a girl who was trying to keep herself away. Kaubliwala was rather startled to see her. He could not quite resume their old conversation. He could not quite begin again the conversation after a pause. Finally, he smiled and said, "Okay, are you going to your in-laws house, your father-in-law's house. Meaning, now knew the meaning of this word. The word which was used by Minnie when she was a small girl, that time she did not understand the meaning. But this time, when Kaubliwala used the word, she understood the meaning of the word. She could not reply readily as of old, as in the past. She could not reply readily as she was speaking in the past. She blushed and turned away her face. Their first meeting came to my mind. I felt a strange ache in my heart. The narrator felt a strange kind of pain in his heart. After Minnie left, Rahmat heaved a great sigh and sat down on the floor. All of a sudden, Rahmat realized that his own daughter too had grown up. With her too, I shall have to break the ice again. I shall have to remove the feeling of awkwardness between two people who don't know each other and make them feel more comfortable with each other. Had grown up with her too, I shall have to break the ice again. He won't find her as he had left her. I handed him a note. The narrator handed him a note. Rahmat, go back to your country. Your daughter. May the happiness of your reunion bring happiness to my Minnie's life. Because I gave away this money, I had to forego a few aspects of the wedding celebration. I have to give up a few aspects of the wedding celebration. The electric lights and the music could not be as grand as planned. But for me, the festivities grew brighter with a blessed light. Thank you.